Imagine being part of an experiment that blurs your identity and moral compass. In 1971, psychologist Philip Zimbardo conducted such an experiment at Stanford University. It involved 24 male students, randomly assigned roles as prisoners or guards in a simulated prison. The study was expected to run for 2 weeks, but after just 6 days, it was terminated due to escalating violence and abuse. The Stanford prison experiment illuminated the disturbing ease with which individuals can conform to assigned roles, losing themselves and their moral compass in the process. Despite its significant impact on our understanding of human behavior, the experiment has been heavily criticized for its ethical shortcomings and lack of scientific rigor. It's a chilling reminder of how easily individuals can lose themselves in assigned roles, prompting us to question the depths and darkness of our human nature. Moving on to a darker chapter of history. During the gruesome years of World War II, Nazi doctors conducted a series of inhumane experiments on thousands of prisoners, primarily Jews, in concentration camps. These weren't ordinary medical trials. They were horrific procedures that pushed the boundaries of human decency. Prisoners were subjected to freezing, burning, mutilation, sterilization, and infection with diseases and harmful chemicals. These were not conducted with the subject's consent or under anesthesia, but as a grotesque display of racial supremacy. The experiments served no real scientific purpose. They were a tool for genocide, a way to assert dominance and inflict pain. They were a gross violation of human rights and dignity, forcing us to question the depths to which humanity can sink in the name of ideology. This horrific chapter of history serves as a chilling reminder of the potential for evil within us. A grotesque display of racial supremacy and genocide that shook humanity to its core. Now let's delve into a scandalous study that lasted 40 years. The Tuskegee Syphilis experiment, a horrific chapter in the annals of American medical history, was conducted by the U.S. Public Health Service on 600 African-American men, 399 of whom had untreated syphilis. For 4 decades, from 1932 to 1972, these men were deceived into participating in a study that they believed was for their benefit, but in reality was a study of the progression of untreated syphilis. The researchers withheld not only the true nature of the study, but also the fact that a simple, effective treatment, penicillin, had become widely available. The consequences were devastating. The disease claimed the lives of 128 men, and many more were left with severe health complications. Moreover, the disease was unwittingly passed on to their wives and children. A glaring example of racial discrimination and a gross breach of medical ethics. Next on our list is a covert operation that spanned 7 decades. The Soviet biological weapons program, a chilling chapter in scientific history, began in the 1920s and lasted until the 1990s. This operation was not a benign research project, but a calculated endeavor to develop deadly weapons of mass destruction. The Soviets utilized a frightening array of pathogens, including anthrax, plague, smallpox, and Ebola, to create these weapons. But the program was fraught with accidents and leaks, leading to outbreaks among workers and the unsuspecting public. These incidents caused numerous fatalities and threatened global health and security. But perhaps the most shocking aspect of this program was its blatant disregard for international agreements, which explicitly prohibit the use of biological weapons. The Soviet biological weapons program serves as a grim reminder of the lengths to which nations will go in the reckless pursuit of power, completely disregarding human safety. A reckless pursuit of power that disregarded international agreements and human safety. Now let's turn back the clock to the inception of the nuclear era. The 5th most perilous experiment on our list is the Trinity Test, the first detonation of a nuclear weapon. Orchestrated in the barren plains of New Mexico in 1945, this was the culmination of the Manhattan Project's intense efforts. The test marked a scientific and military milestone, yet it was not without grave consequences. The explosion released substantial radiation, creating a towering mushroom cloud and leaving a lasting impact on the environment. The effects, much like the cloud, were unknown and unpredictable. The fallout from this experiment was more than just literal. It ignited an international arms race that threatened the very existence of our world. The Trinity Test was indeed a scientific milestone that forever changed the course of history and humanity. Moving into the realm of particle physics, we encounter the Large Hadron Collider, or LHC. Nestled deep beneath the Swiss-French border, this mammoth machine, spanning a whopping 17 miles, was constructed with a singular purpose: to explore the fundamental particles of the universe. Here, protons are accelerated to nearly the speed of light, colliding to recreate conditions just after the Big Bang. But with such groundbreaking research came fears that were equally monumental. Some worried that these high-energy collisions could spawn miniature black holes, theoretical entities with an insatiable appetite for matter, capable of swallowing our planet whole. In response, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, better known as CERN, assuaged these fears, stating that any black holes produced would be too small and short-lived to pose a threat, an experiment that pushed the boundaries of scientific exploration, despite its potential risks. Next, an experiment that shocked the world. Let's turn our attention to the Milgram Experiment, orchestrated by Stanley Milgram at Yale University in 1961. Participants were led to believe they were administering electric shocks of increasing intensity to another person, an actor, for every incorrect answer given. In reality, no shocks were delivered, but the subjects were made to believe they were causing real harm. The purpose? To understand how far people would go in obeying an authority figure, even if it meant inflicting pain on others. The results were startling. A majority of the participants, despite their personal discomfort, obeyed the instructions to the end. This experiment raised serious ethical questions about human behavior. It demonstrated the disturbing power of authority and the lengths people would go to obey, even when it contradicts their personal morals and empathy for others. A disturbing insight into the power of authority and the lengths people will go to obey. Finally, a deadly sphere that claimed the lives of two physicists. This brings us to the chilling tale of the Demon Core, a 6.2 kilogram sphere of plutonium, a key player in the Manhattan Project, the infamous World War II initiative that birthed the first atomic bombs. Wreathed in a shroud of secrecy and danger, the Demon Core was designed for a third bomb, a weapon that was never used. However, the core had a sinister reputation, a harbinger of death and disaster. The core, due to its unstable nature, was prone to going critical, a state where a nuclear chain reaction becomes self-sustaining, releasing bursts of deadly radiation. The first incident occurred in August 1945, when physicist Harry Daghlian was conducting a solitary experiment. A slip of the hand led to a tungsten carbide brick falling onto the core, inadvertently causing it to go critical. Daghlian died a month later from acute radiation sickness. Less than a year later, in May 1946, physicist Louis Slotin suffered a similar fate. During a demonstration, Slotin accidentally allowed the two halves of a neutron-reflective beryllium sphere to close around the core, triggering an instantaneous criticality. He died 9 days later. These incidents led to the core being dubbed Ruthless Ruth, and later the Demon Core. The accidents underscored the dangers of complacency when dealing with nuclear materials, leading to a complete overhaul of safety procedures. Despite the grave lessons learned, the Demon Core's story ended in a fittingly explosive manner. In July 1946, it was detonated in an atomic test at Bikini Atoll, forever ending its reign of terror. The Demon Core serves as a grim reminder of the lethal potential of nuclear technology and the perils of scientific miscalculations. It's a cautionary tale that echoes in the annals of scientific history, reminding us of the thin line between discovery and disaster.